Hello, Manta Rays. Welcome to our newest podcast, Beneath Marco's Waves, where Marco's past rises to the surface. I'm Bella Groves, the arts editor here at The Wave.
And I'm Alina Nguyen, the managing editor. Today we are so happy to be joined by our first ever guest, Tish Champagne. Woo!
Today we are going to be asking our lovely guest, Mrs. Champagne, about the humble beginnings of Marco Island. Mrs. Champagne, could you introduce yourself, please? Tell us how long you've lived here and let our listeners know your role in the Marco Island Historical Society.
Well, I moved here in 2007, so I've been here almost 20 years. And I would say from day one, I was retired at that point, so I still felt like I needed to do little things. And at that point, I joined the Marco Island Museum. And at that time, we were building the museum. And so I've been with them from day one, and this past year became president of the Marco Island Historical Society.
You always hear the term island way of life. When you think of living where we do you think that island life is still here or is it disappearing?
I think you can't help but have a slower pace here. There's something about, and I'm jealous of people that grow up here, and I would hope that you never take for granted that, I open my drapes in the morning and what greets me is a great white heron, ibis, dolphin. If I walk outside to talk to someone, a manatee comes by. How could that not affect how you feel here? So, and also, you sit next to someone in a Hawaiian shirt and shorts. So we do have an island life here. We do have that. And I feel the difference even when I go to Naples. Mm-hmm. It's not the same, it's things speed up there, but it's true about that term island life, and we still have it, and I would hope we never lose it.
So what are some things that people often get wrong or assume about island life?
Oh, probably that we're all drug
Like
hippies. We're all hippies.
And we just spend all our day by the beach. Yeah.
Not all the bars, and
And we're all super tan.
Yeah.
Super tan. Yes. And that, and that we're also on the other end, that we're all old. I mean, we are older, but, the reputation of Florida is that people retire here and we're all old and don't know how to drive anymore. Don't even know how to have fun anymore. And so that's a misconception.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to Marco's history. I don't know much about Marco's past. What makes its history stand out the most?
Well, I think what's interesting, the aspect that most people don't understand or just aren't aware of is that Marco Island goes back 7,000 years.
Wow.
And if you put that, so we had indigenous people on this island 7,000 years ago, and they were hunters and gatherers. They used tools, and to put that kind of in a historical sense, 7,000 years ago was the time that Stonehenge was being built. The pyramids were just starting to be built.
Wow.
And we had these indigenous groups on this very island.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were called the Calusas. There were also the Muspa. They melded pretty much together. And we're here for the next 600 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And left their history. We have their artifacts, that's incredible. And we have, sitting at our museum on little old Marco Island, are the most important artifacts ever found in North America. they're so valuable and so old that they can't even put a price on it. But at little old Marco Island, that's the misconception, is that we started in 1965, but we didn't.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard the Calusa mentioned before, but who really were they, and why are they so important to Marco's story?
Well, they're important because they left behind their history for us to discover. They used tools. I mean, 7,000 years ago, that's just when human beings are starting to evolve into hunters, gatherers. Their tools were made from shells. They left a pretty rich heritage, and you piece it together of they worshipped animal figure. Heard it that the Calusas, they were so smart, where they picked to build their village for the next eons. They picked Marco Island because it was protected.
Yeah.
And the reality was, when you go back and you look at the history, it's our mangroves. It's the way the island sits, and we've always had all these barrier islands around us, the 10,000 islands. So if hurricanes were coming, the Calusas knew that they would hit the barrier islands first and protect where they built, which was Marco. And so I still believe that.
Yeah.
I live out on the edge of Caxambas, and you have to admit that climate change,
Yeah.
we'll get controversial here, but you can't live on Marco Island and not believe in climate change, and not notice that the oceans are rising. And thus, climate change has changed our bubble a little.
Yeah.
We're less protected because we're destroying a lot of those islands that have protected us all these years. Then I'll say that's my personal opinion.
Do you have any traditions or legends that you want to share?
I think the one that I loved the most was that we supposedly, the Spaniards had said that the Fountain of Youth was on Marco Island.
Oh, wow.
Ponce de Leon came here on Marco to find the Fountain of Youth, because the Spaniards, when they started to come to Marco, and that's how we eventually lost the Calusas, is they brought European diseases. But when they came, they always put it on the charts that this was the place to get fresh water.
Wow.
Because we had all these springs. And somehow, you know what? I've even tried to say or look into the history of who was the first person to say the Fountain of Youth was here. But we still have several fresh springs here. And I love to think that Ponce de Leon believed the Fountain of Youth was here. Now, St. Augustine has always claimed that they had it. But I love that legend.
Yeah. That's a cool one.
Yeah.
How do you think the community and culture has shifted as more people have moved onto the island?
Oh boy, that is a tough question. To me, in the last few years, I think, we're only reflecting what's actually going on in the world. People now moving onto the island are faster paced.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we moved here, there were more retired people. But as my husband and I always knew, we still wanted families on this island. That's why we wanted a high school on this island.
Yeah.
We wanted to see the island grow, to involve young people too, because that's what you need to survive. You really do. You need youth and youth and education around you. So up the first 15 years we were here, we saw it grow with younger people starting businesses here, bringing their families, making families here. The type of people we're getting in the last 5 years has changed somewhat. We're getting people that really want to more exploit the island.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my personal opinion. But they come with grand ideas from where they come from, that we should be that.
Mm-hmm.
That we should be bigger, that we should be faster, that we should have different, beliefs. This island was set up by the Mackle brothers, and when they did it in 1965, they made room for every denominational church.
Mm-hmm.
They made room for schools, all ages. They planned an incredible community that would enhance itself.
If younger generations don't learn about this history, what do you think will be lost?
I think when you don't repeat history over and over again, I think you lose humanity. How else can you learn from mistakes? And so many mistakes have been made throughout history. How do you make an improvement on any of those issues if you don't study history and study where someone went wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you learn not to repeat those mistakes?
Yeah.
And it makes me very sad when I hear that history isn't being taught as it used to be, because I think you can save the world from making horrible mistakes
Yeah.
by looking at a problem and how was it handled at this point, and was it handled well, or was it a disaster? So history's, I think, incredibly important
Yeah.
to our generations to come of the museum.
But to end on a fun note, let's personify Marco for a second. If the island could talk, what kind of story do you think it would tell us about its people?
I think it would state that we have caring, dedicated Marconians.
Oh, for sure. Yes, Marconian.
We still, on this little island, if you're going to live here, I've found that we are blessed with people that want to give back.
And do better.
Do better and teach people what it's about. This is a very giving island.
Yes.
And so I'm proud of our people here. They've not come from very much, but made their lives rich with education, and they come to Marco Island and they share it. We have very caring people here.
Everyone on Marco is so proud to live here. I don't really hear any complaints about living on Marco. Like, we live on the beach.
I know, yeah, and that's how sad can you be, or how angry can you get when a dolphin goes flipping by in the morning? Come on, we're living in paradise.
Yeah. You would go, in the ocean any day you want.
Absolutely.
When I heard as a kid that people have to drive hours to get to a beach, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah. I think I was always shocked about that too.
Yeah.
But that is it for today's episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Champagne, for joining us. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
It was really fun, yeah.
It was a delight. It's really a delight, and good luck with your podcast.
Thank
Thank you.